What a great night we had last night. We had heard or read that there was some bear activity in the area. A couple people have had some bears tear into their tents and whatever, and there was nowhere to hang food, so we just kind of had to pray a little. But nothing, no big deal, and it was great. It wasn't too windy, wasn't too hot or cold. It was just a great night. And then we wake up this morning and we're heading into Cajon Pass around I-15. If you're trying to look it up and follow us, to resupply. And also there's a McDonald's there, so we'll get to chow on some grub. It feels really good this morning because first of all, it's nice and cool still, and secondly, and maybe more importantly, we are not carrying very much weight. You know, we started out, both of us, with packs that were probably somewhere around 30 pounds because we were starting off with 5 days worth of food. Well, now we're down to, a half day worth of food, which means we've probably lost 10 pounds off our packs there. Plus, I'm down to, I'm carrying just like a third of a liter of water this morning. So, there's another 2 pounds off. So, we're probably down to, I don't know, 16, 17 pounds. Maybe a little less. Some of the garbage and things that we've used up. Incidentals and things like that. So that's pretty awesome. Of course, here in a couple of miles when we fill up water, I'll have another 4 pounds on my back. But it sure feels nice this morning on my knees. Way up ahead, you can see and maybe hear the train. If you were along with us last year when we did this bit into Cajon Pass, you'll know that there are trains running in towards it, and it's kind of a sign. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting close to the pass, close to McDonald's. We've been hiking all through those desert mountains for the past several days, and we're almost to the highway where we can take a little detour at McDonald's and then resupply at a gas station that's there. So maybe 15 minutes. All right, here in a couple hours we will come back to this point and head down that way to stay on the PCT, but for right now we're going 0.4 to McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's was great. We stayed there way too long, just like last year, and ate lots. Got a little resupply, packed out some chicken nuggets we'll eat later. And now we are walking underneath the highway and through this disgusting, I don't know, hopefully there's no serial killers in here. But yeah, we're back on the trail. We've got about 5 miles. There's a big water cache. Somebody has this, all these water jugs they put out, stuff that we can use, and that'll be 5 miles away, and that might be as far as we get today, but we might start our way up the mountain to Wrightwood. We'll see. This is definitely not the most beautiful part of the trail. But in order to connect these long trails together, occasionally you hit a point like this where you gotta go through something like that to get to the wilderness. Well, we're still trying to get into the wilderness, I think. That's where we're coming from, and we're working our way. It'll be a while. If you look way up there, I think you can even see the trail around a couple of these foothills on the right. We're gonna work our way around there and then down to that road that goes on forever and ever. And that's where that big water cache is. And then we'll either stay there tonight. There's tons of camping, but there's also tons of people around here. So we'll see if there's any space or if we want to stay there. And either way, we'll either continue on, or tomorrow morning we'll continue on up that side, the left side there. And that'll take us up to Wrightwood and then Mount Baden-Powell, which is, I think, is the one with all the snow that we've been seeing forever. All right, well, we made it down to the water cache last night, and found a wonderful spot down here in the open desert. And that's where we spent our evening. And we're getting up earlier than normal today. We've got 22.2 miles to our next water and to town where we can resupply. And that's the last resupply for a few days. So we've got to make it there soon, but we don't know if we'll make it there tonight. So we're carrying a lot of water today. We're going to try our best to make it there. And if we don't, then we will have somebody that will pick us up early tomorrow morning. So that back there was the water cache. You saw all the bottles sitting around in the bins and stuff. So somebody's nice enough to just keep that always stocked. So now we're heading up into the mountains for 22 miles today. We're carrying 4 liters of water apiece. Last year that was a little too much, but that's because we made it all the way through. So we're carrying it just in case we have to stop for the night. We've been out here almost an hour and a half and climbed a little over 1,000 feet. And what I forgot to tell you about this day is that it's climbing almost the entire day. The whole first 16 miles is literally just going up, you know, with just a very few little areas where you just go down a few feet. I mean, it's virtually just climbing the entire 16 miles. And then after that, there's some good climbing also, but there's a little flat and a little descent. So we will, up to that 16-mile mark, we will have climbed around 4,500 feet. I think just a little over that. And so it's not super steep climbing, obviously, but it's just continuous, unrelenting. Well, we're about 3 hours in and it's hot, but we're doing all right. You might recognize that up ahead. That's Mount Baden-Powell that we saw way back a few days ago. And once we get into Wrightwood, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, and then we leave out, that's what we'll do, is immediately climb Baden-Powell, which is why we brought our crampons, in case The trail goes through some icy snow up there that we will need some extra traction for. So we're doing well. We got a ways to go. He doesn't want to move. Little white walking stick. Just taking 5. This is my view. Tiger Lily hiked on because she doesn't like to break her rhythm, which I totally understand, but my feet get to throbbing and I have got to stop for just 3 or 4 minutes, and then it really rejuvenates me. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. Doing pretty well today. My thermometer says it's about 80 degrees under the umbrella. You can see I'm under the umbrella. And so, I don't know what that means. It's 95 out there or something. Used up about 1/4 of our water, and we're just a little over 1/3 of the way. So we're doing well. That means, if we get towards the end and we can't, we can't make it all the way into town, we should have 1/4 of our water, 1 liter left at least, to get us through overnight, which is enough to be safe. Yeah, I think that's about it. Oh, I was also going to mention, I forgot to mention last night, when we came out of McDonald's, walked back to the trail, there was a guy in his car, which you see quite often around these long trails, doing trail magic. And he had some various things, but the only thing we partook in was he gave us a banana and an apple. But he had all sorts of drinks, which we had just had at McDonald's, and he was making sandwiches, which we'd already had one at McDonald's and all that stuff. But anyway, so that was really awesome to have some fresh fruit. We ate it last night for dinner. Oh, good stuff. Okay. I don't know. I'm not getting tired of this view, but you might be getting tired of listening to me, so I'm going to go. Well, we just stopped right back there in the shade, which you can see there is almost none. But that's all the shade there is this time of day out here. And we had lunch, and we took way too long for lunch, but it was necessary as we both needed a long break. And we were filtering. I told you we were both carrying 4 liters of water. Well, we only have 2 1-liter bottles each. Well, anyway, Tiger Lily has a little different setup, but effectively that's what it is. So we had our 2-liter water bladders that we collect the water in and filter it out of. And generally we carry those empty, we just filter it into the bottles. And anyway, I don't know if any of that made sense, but we were carrying full bottles and full water bladders. So that's how we got the 4 liters that we were carrying. So we just stopped and we had drank all the water out of our bottles, so we filtered the stuff from the bladders into the bottles. So although we were trying to stay ahead on water, we are now at exactly the halfway mark, and we have drank exactly half of our water. So the only hope is that up here another 5 miles or so, we should start to hit some trees. It should start to be a little cooler. My thermometer just registered 109 in the sun, so it's hot. And so hopefully it'll cool off. We'll be able to use less water, and we'll figure it out. Those motorcycles going by are Jim and Sandy, who we just met a little while back. An older couple that they had driven up to the park, so we actually have reached the top. Well, it's hard to explain, but anyway, there's a park up here. And so we talked with them for a while. They live down in Fallon, the little town, and they were very pleasant. They offered us some water. And so, anyway, in the 1 in a billion chance they ever see this. Thanks, guys. Well, we knew it was feeling cooler up here, but not that much cooler. There's actually a little bit of snow in some of these shady spots. It's always amazing how that can even happen. Because it's still like 70 something right now. I mean, or 80 even, but whatever. Well, we got to our water source and talked to my friend John, who lives in Wrightwood, and he said he'd come pick us up at Highway 2 and take us into town where we need to resupply and everything. So thank you, John, so much. And so we decided just to go, and we didn't even get water. We got a liter of water between the two of us. From when we called him, we had about 5 miles to go into town. We maybe have 4 now or something, you know. So anyway, we're pretty tired, but got a little motivation. I think we decided, well, we did decide, we're actually going to take a 0 tomorrow. So it's a little earlier than we thought we might do it, but we've been doing bigger mileage days than we thought we were going to do as well, you know, and so we're further along and we're feeling a little broken down and feel like we need to have a recovery day. So we're going to go in and get a hotel room tonight and stay there and probably just eat a good meal and then just sleep like crazy. And then tomorrow we'll go to the grocery and get our resupply, whatever we need for the next few days, and do some laundry. John mentioned maybe being able to do laundry at his house, so we'll see if that works out. If so, thanks again, John. If not, we'll find a laundromat or we'll find something, and we got to take showers and, you know, just have a day for our legs and everything to recover. So exciting, and that gave us a little bit of extra energy, but we gotta get to the road so we don't make our friend, you know, have to come get us too late. So we're hauling, but it's going to be a 22.2 mile day today if we make it. Wow, I'm surprised we were able to do that this soon. That's why we're taking a day off. It's amazing how much better we feel and how much better we're hiking and how much faster we're hiking now that it's cooled off a little. I mean, of course it's going to make it harder, but it seems as the older I get, it makes it a lot harder when it gets a little hotter. Wow, it's gorgeous through here. It's so much more beautiful to me than hiking through all that scrubby desert stuff. We're so exposed to the sun. Wow, I love it. All right, so we're coming out of the woods into Inspiration Point. And John's gonna be here in about 5 or 10 minutes to get us, take us into town to the hotel, and we're gonna have some pizza. Whew. I'll be back on trail, not tomorrow, but the next day. Bye. All right, we are back on the trail. Johnny just dropped us off What a great guy he is. We appreciate you coming out so early to get us this morning. And we're back on leaving Wrightwood, which I haven't been able to do yet since we ended there last year. So this is pretty cool to hike out of Wrightwood. The beautiful scenery behind us, and look at that over there. Wow. And we're heading towards Mount Baden-Powell. So we've been saying this whole time that mountain behind us, well, it's behind the tree, but with the snow on it, is Baden-Powell. But I don't think we were right. So anyway, we'll find out. We go up here just 5 miles or so, and then we start climbing the mountain. And we'll get over the mountain today for sure. Then there's another small mountain tomorrow, or maybe we'll get that small mountain today as well. And then we're back in the low desert, the regular desert. And we pretty much are going to be in the desert until we get to Tehachapi, the Sierra Mountains. So we've got a couple of weeks of the desert we're not super looking forward to, but I'm sure we'll find some fun in it along the way. We just got down from our initial 5-mile little mini mountain we did, and down to the park and the parking lot behind us, you can see. And now we're heading up Mount Baden-Powell, 4.5 miles to the top. Then we'll have a bit of a descent, and we'll probably try to get to, trying to see if you can see this. Anyway, little Jimmy Trail Camp at 9.7, and we'll see how hard this climb is. We might stop there at that little Jimmy Trail Camp, and if not, we might head on up the next peak. This is the Lamel Spring. We're almost 2 miles up the mountain. It's just coming right out of the side. So we managed to get enough water, get us to the next point about 8 miles away, and filter it up and keep heading up. Well, we're back from our little detour to the spring and heading back up the trail. I think maybe we have another hour-ish to the top, and then we'll hang out there and enjoy the view for a minute and head down to Little Jimmy Spring or Trail Camp, whatever. Starting to get into the snow. But we haven't really had to walk through any of it yet, so we'll see what it turns into. Well, there's not too much snow yet, but we are into the place where you've got to be walking through it periodically. And like right here is not a very good example because you can easily see the trail on the other side. But it's surprising how often you get walking in the snow and you really can't find where the trail is after that. And so kind of looking for clues and clearing and other people's footprints in front of you in the snow up ahead or something like that. So we're having fun. So we came from way down there in that kind of area, and here we are. We just came from there. It really is impossible to really know exactly where the path is, so we're kind of following footsteps, and then every once in a while you find the path. We've just been doing that, and you can see off out there that's nothing but desert, you know. But right there you can see the mountain range goes on for quite a ways, and that is most likely where we'll end up, you know, hiking, I believe, after we get off this mountain. How are you?
Hey.
Made it to the top, Mount Baden-Powell. And we're out of breath. Look at those clouds out there.
We get some solo shots. Oh yeah.
So Mount Baden-Powell is actually named after Robert Baden-Powell, who is the founder of the Boy Scouts. And this is dedicated to him here. And so probably some of you who are Boy Scouts already knew that, were involved. I'm thinking of you, Carrie and Matt, and Eli and Liam. You guys may have known that, but anyway, this whole mountain is named after him. Pretty cool. Coming down off the mountain. It's Mount Baden-Powell, the Baldwin way up there. And then Mount Burnham to the left. We've come all the way down. Now we're heading down the mountain finally. But before we left home, we deliberated a lot about whether to bring our crampons with us here at the beginning, whether to bring our ice axes, because Baden-Powell had a lot of snow, but it was melting quickly. And so we, there wasn't great information. We couldn't find a lot of beta on it. So anyway, what we found, we just determined, well, we didn't think we needed ice axes, but we thought we might very well need the crampons. So we sent our ice axes ahead to Kennedy Meadows South, which is right before the Sierra, because we'll for sure need them there. And we brought our crampons. So we didn't need them at all. We carried our heavy, kind of heavy crampons with us this whole time. But, it's just kind of the part of the game. We would much rather have them and not need them than need them and not have them. So we may carry them with us the rest of the way, but what would be really nice is when we get into Acton, which is coming up shortly in a couple of days, or 3 or 4 days, is mail them ahead. Just mail a small box to Kennedy Meadows South with the crampons in it. That way we don't have to carry that extra weight all through the desert. So we'll see if we can manage to make that work.